Well, here it is, guys. It is Monday, a new week. And today we're not going to be covering a new conversation. Welcome. It's the 27th of April, almost ready for May, probably ready for spring in the north. We're going to be talking about something you've probably heard before. And if you haven't been on enough listing presentations. This is what we're going to work on today. We're going to sharpen our skills with a seller telling you your commission is too high. That would be what, you guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 dreaded words you fear on a listing appointment. But you won't fear them after today because we're going to practice it. So, Don, how do we play and who's in line?
Well, it's pretty simple. We're just looking for participants. Like to be on camera and put it in the chat. And it's that easy. So Mike Brennan's batting first. All right, he's got the first pitch. Matt?
Oh, yep.
I'm,
We got Ellie in there as well. So Mike, Ellie,
yep,
and Muhammad.
yep.
I saw Ellie in there, but I'll go first. I'll step up. It's good.
All
All right,
right.
Mike, you're with me.
Okay.
Mike,
go
it
ahead.
all looks good, but your commission's too high, buddy.
Okay, interesting. Don, can you tell me what makes you say that?
Well, your competition is certainly lower.
All right, interesting. Okay, so when you say competition, can you tell me about that? Who you're referring to?
Oh, 2 other agents we talked to already.
Okay, gotcha. And can you tell me a little bit about what they offered and what their percentage? What tell me more about that if you don't mind, so I can kind of explain what I can provide for you.
Okay. One of them was at 5, and one even was kind of hinting that they were going to go a little lower than 5.
Okay, gotcha. And for the ones that were at 5, do you recall what type of service they were going to provide for you? Did you feel comfortable with them?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, those you guys are all pretty much the same, so we're looking for the best price.
Okay, gotcha. So what you said there at the end, you guys are pretty much all the same. Um, that jumps out at me. And when you say that, I don't know. I don't believe that because I believe that I stand out amongst others, and I can tell you why. But it's there's proof in the pudding. You can Google me. You've seen my.
Time. Now
Okay.
you're fighting. Now you're shadow boxing, my friend.
Fist fight in the wind, baby.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like my dad could beat up your dad. Anybody remember that growing up?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, anyway, I don't know. We're not going to get into the granular, but one thing I want you to notice, everyone can learn even by watching and listening. And that's what the chat's for. We got, Kelly won't be here today. Matt's pretty good at the chat. Don is putting things in the chat. You guys should be chatting back and forth. What are you hearing? Because this is sandpaper and this makes people pay attention. This is not like watching a rerun of Gilligan's Island, right? What did you guys notice in that? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Here's my tip for everyone without dealing with this specific issue. Mike, you're all ramped up. Several times there in the beginning, you were machine gunning questions. Did you sense you were doing that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's all because you're ramped up.
Mhm.
Adrenaline.
So when you pull up into Chick-fil-A, I want a regular chicken sandwich, extra pickles. Can you get that out without asking 4 questions? If you can, that's because that's practiced.
Mhm.
And that's for everyone.
Mhm.
All right. So way to be first. We'll start peeling this onion back after a couple more.
Yep. Ellie,
All right.
you can go with
Matt.
me.
I'm
Yeah,
on.
go with Matt.
All right. Okay, Matt. So we discussed all the details here about this listing. Is anything else that you like to ask me about?
Well, I don't really have a question. I just have a statement, and that is, your commission is too high.
Okay. And what makes you say that?
Because it's, we've talked to other people, we've talked to other people that we haven't even met with, and they're telling us right out of the gate that they'd be lower than yours.
I understand. And I bet you you are a little bit like me, you want to make the best for your bug, right? So I understand that you want a net because, right, selling this makes you move to the next one. And I totally understand that. And that's my job here to make that happen. But other than that, is anything else that we can start moving forward that keeps you for start moving forward?
No, just the commission.
Okay, let's dig more into some details about it here. Would that be okay with you?
Sure.
Okay, so let's say in a situation where all this negotiation actually will bring you more in the end. Would that be something that you still be opposed to this commission?
Can you guarantee me that?
There is no guarantee in this industry, you know that. So what I can guarantee is that my skills and negotiations will take you and will
Oh,
give you
your
the.
dad can beat up his dad.
I know. I didn't want to go that way, but I don't know why.
You
I
guys,
did.
guys.
All right, I'll stop.
I took up some microphone time. I'll let Matt lay a few crumbs down.
Keep it really simple, guys. The
I
the
know.
the objection is your commission's too high. Compared to what?
Well, that's one thing. That's yes, you guys. I have a slide I'm going to show you, but that's one of the main things. In fact, I'll show it to you now. Remember the model, isolate, clarify. If there's a number in it, what do you do first?
Figure out what it is.
You
Clarity.
quantify it.
Quantify it.
Hang on, Al. How much too high compared to what? Both of you guys had no idea. It might have been just $1 too high. And you're going into a Stephen King novel. So that's number one. What else, Matt?
Compared to what? And ensure that this is somebody that wants to work with you. Number two.
Oh my gosh, you are sharing all of my molecules.
Yeah.
The second point here is in the isolate and clarify. You would basically, other than the professional fee, is there anything else keeping us from working together?
Yep. Guys, it'd be here, and this, I'll say this and we'll go on to the next one. If I'm sitting in front of you, and forget real estate, just we're talking like relationally. If I'm sitting in front of you and I say, I really want to do whatever with you, but this, give you the objection, whatever that is. Are you going to why would you continue to conversate with me if there was potentially other issues, like we weren't a good fit? So when you get the commission objection, or they say your commission's too high, and you start giving them this dissertation, you don't even know if they want to work with you. Why are you going to waste words with somebody you don't like? It's in a relationship is what I'm referring to, like boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Why are you going to continue to tell them why they should be with you if you don't know if that's the only thing, or if you want to be with them? Figure that out first.
Yeah, at the end of the discussion, they may agree. You're right. Your dad can beat up my dad, but I'm still not gonna. I'm gonna go interview somebody else.
Yep, exactly. All right. So we had Ellie. Now we have Muhammad.
Denny.
Lucky you. You got me. Go.
Who am I going with?
Me, Muhammad. Hey, listen, I heard your presentation. Your commission's too high, dude.
Hi, Denny. I'm curious, just out of interest, what is it about the commission that concerns you? That's concerning.
Let me slow it down. It's too high.
Okay. Well, I understand. Danny, what is too high for you?
Well, what did you tell me? I can't. Well, you gave me so many numbers. I'm confused. What was your fee?
I gave you 6%.
Yeah, it's too high.
Now, Danny, what's more important to you? Paying me too high, or is it netting?
I'm going to pause you because you're role playing with me. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Did anybody hear me answer the question?
Nope.
Oh, no, you didn't. You just said too high.
So just go back. I'm playing a direct Denny, you know me, DD. It's too high. You can ask me the same question a different way, but don't move forward until you get an answer. It's too high, dude. Step
So,
in.
What would you as compared to what?
oh, Danny, as compared to what? What as compared to what?
Well, you said 6%. Like it like floors me. I've talked to some other agents. I've even gone to the GPT chat. They're advising me that most people in this area they're charging 2 or 3% max.
Okay. Well, Danny, so you would rather pay me 3%? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying your 6% is too high.
Okay. My 6% is too high. So what would you pay me, Danny?
Well, I mean, if I can get 2 or 3%, I'm more like I like the 2% better.
Now, Danny, if I discounted my commission, do you think I'm gonna put as much work into selling your house as I
Wrong
was
path.
supposed to?
Wrong path right now.
Yeah, but you
Oh,
started the question okay, but then you took a jog.
okay. Danny,
So go ahead, Matt, because I mean, I thought you were going to say something else.
Right. So Denny, it sounds like the commission is most important to you. If we could come to an agreement on what I charge for my services, would you be prepared to move forward?
Well, are you saying that would be at 2%?
If it were, would you be prepared to move forward?
That was the question I was waiting on. Now, when you ask that question, you've closed me. It doesn't mean you have to then not accept the 2%. You're saying if that is this fair?
Right. Do you want to do you want to do if I agree to take you out for a milkshake at Checkers, will you go on a date with me? That guys, remember, relationally. It's that
Well,
simple.
I'd pay to see you drink a milkshake, Matt. Really.
I couldn't do it. Couldn't stomach it.
All
Couldn't
right. So,
stomach it.
Mohammed, does that help you?
yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So guys, really quick before we go on to the next one, which is going to be Jose.
Yep.
Ensure when you're addressing an objection that you actually understand what it is you're talking about versus like what Muhammad did there was he was trying to overcome the commission objection in a generalized way. Like, well, are you most concerned about the commission or the net? It's guys, until you know exactly what if Denny and I were going to get into a fight, I would want to know the rules of the fight. Are we bringing knives, guns, brass knuckles? What are we doing? Because what I'm not going to do is they're going to say, hey, Don says, hey, Denny wants to meet you for a fight this afternoon. Awesome. Here I go. And I show up and Denny's got a grenade launcher. And I've just got my bare knuckles. Know what kind of fight, for lack of a better term, you're getting into.
There
Kim,
was
go.
one other tidbit in that conversation, and I took it down the road on purpose. I said, "What was your fee again?" What did he say? 6.
Mm-hmm.
Then I said, "Well, GPT chat said 2 to 3. Do you think we're on different levels of understanding what the fee includes?"
Yes. I just had this. I got a listing appointment this afternoon in Tampa, and she's a first time seller. Like she first time buyer. Now it's her first time selling. She didn't know. I said, we'll talk about that when we meet, but it's anywhere between here and here. So guys, they may not know. All right, Jose, you're with Don.
Hey, Jose, thanks for coming out, but uh, your commission is just too high, man.
Too high compared to what, Don?
Oh, compared to other agents that we've talked to and researched.
Okay. And when you mean talk to, you met with them already?
Yes.
Understood. Outside of fee, is there anything else keeping us from working together, Don?
No, we like you.
Okay. So I'm hearing you say is outside of the fee, I'm your guy.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Now, when they arrived at that, what is that fee for starters, Don?
Well, we were quoted 4.5 and 5%. We like the 4.5 even better. Would you do that?
Understood. If I were to do that, again, you've already told me I'm your guy, right? But how does that benefit you, Don?
Well, obviously puts more money in our pocket.
Is what you pay an agent guarantee you more money in your pocket?
Well, I don't know. I give you, you're the best dressed guy that came, but I'm concerned I'm paying for these suits you're wearing. I'm gonna maybe hire that guy that wears the t-shirts for less.
No, but what I'm trying to understand is how does the discount agent gonna benefit you and what you put in your pocket?
Well,
Suits aside.
if I don't have to pay him as much, Jose, then I obviously recognize that money.
Okay. And did they come in at that number or you negotiated down to that number?
Time.
We beat him
Fundamentally,
down.
Jose is a student of this craft. I always have to give him patience because he has a long forward before you get into chapter one, but he has good fundamentals. I guess my point is here, the only thing I could give you, what did the 4.5% include? What does your fee include? And now again, you can check with your rain man if you're on the team, check with your broker. However, I think the way Matt and I and Don roll is when you're on a listing presentation, you are negotiating your listing fee, not the total compensation. Are we in agreement, Don and Matt, on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So if you go in there looking for a 6% fee, thinking it's going to be the proverbial back in the Leave It to Beaver days, it's split 50-50, you're going to be moving uphill.
Yeah.
So does everybody get that, Matt?
Yeah, guys, we are golly, I don't want to use the word negotiate in this sense, but I just can't think of a better word. We're actually, yes, I can. Yes, we are. If we're negotiating anything, we're negotiating our side of the brokerage fee from for what we charge for our services. That's what I like to say. We are negotiating what we charge for our services, keyword our. Then you flip the coin and you're having a discussion about the inherent benefits of what it may be to incentivize the other side. So negotiating ours, discussing the other. Make sense?
Yeah, I imagine, Jose, you were probably going to get around, but I thought it was very appropriate. He said 4.5. I don't know what yours was, but if yours was less than that as a listing fee, I'm assuming it wasn't because you didn't push back on him on the 4.5. Would that be accurate?
Well, he already agreed that I was a better agent. So I was
He
gonna
didn't say you're
focus
the
on
better
that.
agent. He just said he'd hire you. But again, he's at 4.5. But what does the 4.5 include? Is that the total fee? Your listing fee is less.
Right. So I charge 3% for my services. Do you object to that?
Got it.
Yep. And then,
All right.
and then,
Always good form. Your
yep.
form is as good as you look.
All right. Kim A with me.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right.
Are you? We'll see.
All right. Your commission's too high. Let's go right from there.
Okay, Mr. Sellers, so I understand your concern. Other than the commission, is there anything preventing you from moving forward today?
No.
Okay, got perfect. So if we can agree on a commission, would you be ready to sign this listing agreement?
I I I think so. Yeah, I can't see a reason why not.
Okay, perfect. So just so I can understand where you're coming from, help me understand, what about the commission is too high? What, compared to what exactly?
I mean, just other people that we've talked to, not necessarily met with.
Okay, so compared to what other agents are charging that you've spoken with, correct?
Right.
Okay. And can I share with you why?
No,
No, I cannot.
not
Okay.
yet. How much? You haven't quantified it yet. How much too high?
Yeah, just out of curiosity, how much did they say that they're charging?
I mean, it ranges all over the board, but we're looking like 2.5, 3%, somewhere in there.
Gotcha. Okay, so I understand. So two, and I'm charging 4%. Um, so Mr. Seller, there's a direct correlation between what an agent charges and the skills of the agent. Do the highest attorneys, I'm sorry, do the attorneys charge, the strong attorneys, do they charge the lowest fees or the highest fees? Attorneys that are strong.
I I mean, I've worked with people that are, pretty quality people that will, give a discount on their services.
Okay. And well, the reason I mentioned that is because when you hire an agent, they will be negotiating and representing you on your behalf. So if you have somebody who's willing to
Time.
discount their
I gave you 2 minutes there because I know we interrupt you. I was very curious where you were going to go because I want us to get past this part of it and now maybe draw some parallels to find out, hey, you kind of get what you pay for. It can be a negotiating card. She was laying a great parallel on the attorneys. But if you're going to do that, you have to kind of slow it down a little bit. You can't go to the middle of the book. You're going to have to go step by step if you're going to sell that value. So now is when you're going to have to articulate your value proposition without becoming Stephen King.
Right.
It's going to have to be back and forth, Matt.
Yeah. I always use like deflection questions, or I call them tee ups. In this scenario, what you didn't address is, I said anywhere between 2.5%, 3%. Okay, and what is that fee encompass? And you said, oh well, mine is 4. Okay, for what though? For you? For both? Is that total? So you're asking, you're getting clarification. You're seeking to understand first. Okay, and then you can start doing the tee up questions, which take you to the parallels. So, Kim, you ever had to go? Have you ever had surgery, like a serious surgery? Or do you know anybody that's had a serious surgery?
Pretty young. She might know somebody who has.
Yeah. Do you know? Have you or somebody that you know had a serious medical issue?
Okay, yes.
You have. Okay. And when that issue arose, did you seek out the least expensive doctor to help you? No. Okay. What did you do?
I went out for the most experienced one.
Right. Regardless of what they charged, you wanted the best doctor that could do whatever it was that you needed to be done 1,000 times a day in their sleep, right?
Right.
Realtors are a lot like that. That's how you take those parallels, not just going into when you hire an attorney, you don't want the cheapest attorney, you want the most expensive one.
Yeah, you've got to build the story.
Okay. That makes sense. Right. Okay.
And there's one you can always use. I'm going to go to let's see. I don't know. Hey, Frank the Tank. I want someone to give me a parallel. Frank, this is where you go. Ready? I'm going to ask you, you're on a list. I'm on an appointment with you. Obviously you're not a spring chicken and you're relatively new in real estate, but you had a life before real estate. What did you do before real estate, Frank?
Well, before that, I was in the mortgage industry.
The mortgage business?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it does not matter. They could be raising alpaca for a living. How long had you done that?
35 years.
You see where I'm going? Well, let me ask you. I mean, get a mortgage license is pretty easy. Anyone can get a mortgage. Broker, you get a license, work under a broker. Is there a difference between somebody who's done it like 35 years and somebody that hasn't? You see, that road is always paved for you. Unless you're talking to somebody super young, like maybe Kim is, where they haven't had a career other than college, they will defend the fact that they're more valuable because they're 15 or 20 or 30 years experience than somebody else.
Right. Yeah.
Now you've paved the road to drive down. Yeah.
You could keep it really concise. So we say you did that for 30 years. Okay. Your experience, is it less valuable? Is it less or more valuable than the person that just got their license yesterday? They're going to say, well, more. Right. And it's not too dissimilar in this scenario.
Right. Now you've planted that parallel. So get it? All right. Number next.
Michelle. Michelle with Denny.
No, we had Daniel, Matt.
Oh, okay, Daniel, then Michelle. See
Daniel's
if we
with
can get 2 more.
Denny. DD. Go, Daniel.
Yeah, okay. Man, your fee is too high, Daniel.
All right, Denny, other than my fee, is there anything else stopping us from moving forward?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's good news. And how high is too high? What number did you have in mind?
Well, I'm looking for the lowest one possible, and I've done some research, and you are not the lowest one possible.
Okay, and are you talking about the total commission to both agents or just my commission?
Just, that's a good question. Listing agent fee in our area is something running in between 1.5% and 3%, according to chat.
Okay, so if I'm charging 3%, are we in agreement with that?
I think we're in agreement that you're charging 3%. Yes.
Okay, now what about the buyer's agent?
Well,
I quoted you for clarity, I quoted you 6%. So if we agree for my 3%, how much do you want to come down for the buyer's agent?
I didn't agree to your 3%. I'm only agreeing that that's what you said it was.
Okay, and is that an issue?
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you could go to the grocery store and the 7-Eleven is offering gas for less money, would you take the expensive pump or the cheaper pump? Do you buy regular or super unleaded?
It depends what I'm driving. If you're driving an Audi, Denny, you're gonna want the super.
Would you say your home is an Audi, Denny, or
Or an Emmy?
A Pinto?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I didn't mean to, but I set you up for one. Well, it depends on
Yeah.
how well you want your car to run. Yeah. So
Correct.
anyway, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to give you 20 more seconds here, Daniel. No, I didn't agree to the 3%. I like you, but you have to do better than 3%. What's the best you can do?
Okay. Well, unfortunately, Denny, that's what my team charges. And I won't get caught up in the buyer's agent commission because we're obviously focused on mine. And this is the way I structure it. I try to focus on the carrot before I get the stick. Would you agree that 3% would motivate any agent?
Are we talking about a buyer's agent right now?
No, sorry, as a listing agent. Would you agree that 3% would motivate any listing agent?
Well, you brought up carrots, so I'm going to just say it depends on how hungry you are. There's hungry agents will do it for 1.5%.
I role play with my baby in hand, Denny. I am the hungriest agent you know. And our commission's certainly negotiable. So the carrot for me is the 3%, and that's what drives me to get the highest net. Now, what's more important to you? Would I get paid or you?
Careful.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
That's right.
Can you promise a salve I can put on my head and I can wake up with hair like Matt? Come on.
That's right.
That's a promise you might have a hard time keeping. Now, Daniel, I gave you a lot of pushback and a couple of different things. I was the third person that said, when you ask the closing question, are you ready to move forward? And on Matt's role play said, think so, or I can't think of a reason not to. That's not a yes, you guys.
Right.
So when you ask someone to marry you and say, well, I think I'll be faithful to you, like that is a asterisk. You may want to dig there a little bit.
Yeah, I don't have any other suitable suitors right now, right?
But I'm going to the beach this afternoon. Ask me later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to be, guys. The other thing with Daniel's role play, Daniel, and this is it's for everybody, but Daniel, since you said it, you got caught in the weeds of going back and forth on like, hey, well, how are we slicing this turkey? Are we talking about the buyer's agent, listing agent? So just simplify it. Denny, I charge 3% for my services. What is it that you were hoping I would charge? Pull that out of them. Well, they're 1.5. Right. No. Because here's the thing. He never answered your question. He said, well, they're,
less than that.
Yeah, they're 1.5 to say, no, Denny, I get what they are. What would you like me to charge you? Well, I'd like it to be X. Okay. And if we could agree to that, are you 100% ready to put me to work right now? You're not obligating yourself to the 1.5%. And I think that's why you were struggling, because you guys think that if you do the if I can, will you take that literally. It's not literally. It's just finding out what would get someone to commit, what would pique their interest enough that they would move forward. You follow me, Denny?
Yeah, and we can go into overtime. I got a few extra minutes today, and just keep the recording going. So if you'd like to stay another 10 minutes, no more than 15 minutes, raise your digital hand. We'll have a little discussion. And what Matt's saying is right, Daniel, right